gentlemen, how are you doing out there? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. It's been a long time since we've done a live subscriber sit-in. If you're new to this or if you've never seen one before, it's very simple. The link is in the description of the video. You can turn your camera on, you can turn your mic on, and you can join me live here on YouTube, and we can talk about anything that you want. Music, guitar, life, anything at all. This is really just a cool way for me to meet some of you all and for us to connect. And we haven't done this in a really long time. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, if you try to enter, it does limit me in the backstage area for 10-ish. So if you get bumped off, just keep trying. We are not going to do a reaction request tonight. Because of all the blocking that has just gotten completely out of hand. So no need to do that, no need to super chat, no donations or anything like that. I just want to talk to you and see what you're up to and see how you're doing, and that's it. So, Ray Presley, Troublemaker Strat. Yeah, you know, this is my Fender Bullet. This is one of my very favorite guitars. I got it for almost no money, like, I don't know, maybe it was $250 or $300. You know, the neck's been broken off and put back on. I did put new pickups in it. And this is just like my fun little spanky guitar. Oh yeah, before I forget, the hybrid course, the hybrid picking roadmap. I'm shooting to have that done by the end of the week. At the very latest, we're going to launch it, I think, 4th of July. So what's that, Tuesday? I'm doing everything in my power to get it edited and up by then. So a week or less. So stand by for all you out there that are interested in learning my approach to learning hybrid picking. So, Robert, hi from New Orleans. How you doing, man? Justin, good to see you. Welcome back. Always good to see someone that left and came back. Let's see. What 5 notes would you play if you had to save your life, Michael? That's a really funny question. I don't know. Probably. Let's see. I have no idea why I even played that. Something floaty like that. Something floaty. Feed the weasel. I need a lesson on how to practice a thumb bass line while playing the rhythm. Martin Sexton, best example. You know, I've never really studied Martin. But, you know, a good way to start, again, and I'm going to go over this in the hybrid course, is just start alternating not just your root and your fifth, but, you know, you can do your root, your third, and your fifth. So you can be like... Right? So just keeping an upper structure of the chord on this hand, or on these fingers, and then letting the bass note move around on the thumb. Will, what do I think about the new PRS Tele? I asked for one. I'm sure that they have sent it to everybody under the sun that does gear demos. And since I don't really do gear, I really don't do gear demos. They do always end up hooking me up with their new models to try, but I'm not like on top of the list, and I don't even want to be or need to be. But I'm excited to see what it's all about because, well, one, I was under the impression that Paul would never make a country guitar, and I think you could argue that this isn't a full-fledged country guitar. You know, but I'm curious about the pickups, man. I'm curious about the pickups and how it feels with the bolt-on and the hardtail. My gut feeling is that it's going to play really, really well, but it's gonna lose. It's not. It's gonna have that super clean, um, um, polished PRS thing instead of that like that. Right? I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but like there's just something. I expect it to be very round sounding and polished, but we'll see. Joe Wall, what's happening? How are you? Dylan, good to see you. Mr. Tonic Amps, good to see you. Cyrus Green, that 594 review. You know what? So many people have told me that they got their 594 after watching that video, which is really interesting to me because it's not like a review, but it is probably the best guitar I've ever owned. I mean, that is absolutely true. Dan Palatsky or Patlansky, big things going down on your React list. Yeah, Dylan, email me, or if you're a member on GuitarGate, put it on the Guitar Teacher, put it on the React's request page. That way, I'll definitely see it. Dizzy Dad, hope you're well. Ray Presley, advice for someone interested in learning bossa nova. Ray, I wish I could help you, but I do not know how to play bossa nova. I have never, ever learned. Jim Lang, no, it is not a janky telly. Matt Castleman, telly or Strat? I've never owned a telly. I really want to own a telly. My gut feeling, the answer is telly. But I will say that it's hard for me to imagine a life without a whammy bar, right? That feels necessary to me as an electric guitar player. But I also don't like full floating bars like most Strats. So like even my Silver Sky, I have it so like it really only drops. It's not full floating. So like a combination of the two. But my gut feeling is telly, even though I've never owned one, which is interesting, isn't it? Let's see. RM, who do you think is the best living guitarist or top 5 guitarists? I mean, I can't answer that question. But I think Derek Trucks is easily my favorite, probably the greatest living electric guitar player. So I think we can all agree to just on that, and then we can argue about everybody else. Okay, let's see here. Trey Clark, been a member, quiet student for a while. First time live streaming. Love what you do. It's fun knowing exactly what you're going to say or do, then watch you twist it back. Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, who else we got here? Cody's Mojo. Look, I got a lot of new people in here. I always write A parts, but can never write B parts that complement them. Any tips? Yeah, okay. So this is a cool question. There's a bunch of different songwriting techniques, okay? Vehicles, if you will, devices, if you will. But, one place to start, this would be a great course, too. It's just fundamental, like, songwriting or, like, arrangement techniques or, I got to figure out the right word for it. But basically, if you haven't thought about it in this very simple way, practice making your A part and your B part, whether it's your verse and chorus, whatever it is, be one major and one be its relative minor. So you could have something where it's like, B minor. Right? Something like that. And then immediately go to like D major. It says relative major. So like that's like a classic songwriting thing where you have a happy part and a sad part, like a major and minor, but they're relative major and then relative minor. And that's like as basic gets for creating contrast within parts. But that's a good place to start. Here we go again. Just get yourself a telly. They're magic. I know that. Joe Wall. Usually Tuesdays. I haven't done many of these recent Tuesdays. I've been trying to do more time at home, but yeah, there you go. Okay. I was just watching Chad Smith on Drumeo and saw that you were on. What is your favorite Tool song? Oh my God. Oh, there's so many, and for so many different reasons. Let's see. The Pot comes to mind immediately. I tell you what, Hooker with a Penis. Maynard calling out all of the fans that are calling them sellouts is just one of the most all-time just rock and roll moments ever. Like, that is such a killer song, just taunting and publicly shaming all of the music fans, like, to their face for calling them for that they're commercially selling out, and he's just like, no, buy my record. It's just, I love that. 46 and 2. I mean, there's so many good ones. But yeah, live, The Pot, man. The Pot is my jam. Okay. Yeah. Top best Tool songs would be a great video, actually. That would be a great video. All right, so what we'd have to do is shit, that might come out this week. That is a really good idea. But they'd have to be for different reasons. Like, one would have to be the lyrics, right? One would have to be the bass, right? One would have to be the drums, like which one would have your favorite drum part? One would have to be, guitar riff, right? And then, like, the fifth would have to be some type of X factor. Actually, you guys let me know. What would your top 5 Tool songs be? This is a great idea. She just want Happy Shot. Are there any downside when improvising instead of attention to chord changes, simply listening to the track and trying to hum some it and then play that instead? No, that's what everyone should try to do. It's really hard to do, but when you just listen and hear in your head what something should be, that's such a freedom. That's such a gift because you're not thinking instrument first. Even if we are practicing improvising over certain things and learning scales and learning all the things we're learning, don't forget to just do that. Listen to where and when something could fit and then try to figure out what those notes are and what that time is. Tremendous advice. Okay. VB Henry. Listen, Hendrix is a blocker. There are a couple Hendrix videos that have been blocked on YouTube. There's at least one that is on the GuitarGate site. But his estate blocks everything. I wish I could change that. Okay. Chippy D, the Dave Show was Saturday, and it was awesome. It was fantastic. anytime you get to see one of the best drummers in the whole world in Carter Beauford play, you go for it. All right, let's start getting some people in here. Marcus.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, good man. How you doing?
Very good. Good to
Thanks for
see you.
you too. Thanks for jumping on.
How was the Dave Matthews show?
It was great. I was just saying that seeing Carter play drums is just for any music lover. If you haven't, it's worth the price of admission just to see him play drums.
Yeah, I can believe that. I put a video up on the website on the warehouse sessions, and I, I don't know most of the songs up there, but it's just Dave Matthews and Carter playing, so just guitar and drums, and that's a really
Really?
amazing. And that's a really amazing. The dynamic that these two guys have is really amazing. At some point, they mentioned that they're missing Stefan on the bass.
Yeah.
And obviously, yes, the bass gives a lot of meat to everything, but I think just the two of them make a huge atmosphere.
Oh,
Um,
so where did you post that on GuitarGate?
I think I have it on Guitargate. Yes, I put it. I put
I
it up.
will. I will go back and check that out. Yeah, I would love to see just the two of. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that that's how the band started. That Dave was just playing in bars, and Carter and Stefan were just local in Charlottesville, Virginia, local players, and the band is kind of it got kind of put together, and Dave didn't try to make them play any certain way. He said, "No, you guys just be you and play around these songs," and that's kind of how that vibe started. So I would love to see those
Yeah,
videos.
yeah, and I think the Dave has done a couple of shows with the guitarist with Tim. I don't know, and they do a kind of a duo show every now and then.
Yeah,
That'd
Reynolds.
be awesome as well. But I think Carter is kind of the guy that just kind of carries the whole arrangement in the
Uh,
songs.
oh yeah, yeah, and I mentioned it in that recent video. Um, when you have someone playing that busy and that groovy behind you, I mean, Dave has a real gift. Well, they all have a real gift for making those super sing along melodies, but with such a busy arrangement underneath of it.
Yeah,
That is, it's, and it was really cool to see live because you have all these people who are clearly not musicians. I mean, they know the songs, they love the songs, and the whole 25,000 people are singing them loud. Like they love Dave and they love this band. And I'm wondering to myself, I was like, how many people are really appreciating the level of musicianship under that's pushing all of this along?
yeah,
Because yeah, the rhythm section. I mean, everybody, but especially the drums and bass are just world class.
yeah, absolutely. And they were here in Mexico City, and I missed them because I had to go to. I took my daughters up to Austin for a show of a YouTuber band called Lovejoy.
Okay.
So I missed Dave Matthews for watching Lovejoy, but it's interesting to see. Yeah, I know new bands also coming up and different styles of music. Not what not my type of thing, but
Yeah, I understand.
I was sad to miss Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, maybe next time.
yeah, and the other person who's also on tour that's doing a great job, I think, is Joe Stone.
Oh yeah, I love Joss Stone.
And I think she doesn't get as much. I think she started around the same time as Taylor Swift did.
Hmm.
For whatever reason, she kind of never got the fame that Taylor did. But I think she's extremely talented. Um,
Yes.
Love to see her show.
Yeah. I mean, I would not put them in the same category, at all. But I've always loved Joss Stone. When she first came out, she had that raw hippie vibe that I just totally connected with. I've always thought she was a great singer and songwriter. Yeah, you make me. I need to listen to more of her stuff and see what she's up to. I have no idea what she's up to right now.
Yeah, I think the video that got me hooked up on your target was your review of Jeff Beck, and it wasn't just Stone, it was the other girl, Imogen Heap.
Yes,
Um,
Yes.
but in that same concert, he also does a gig with Joss Stone, and just kind of I found it.
Really?
Yeah, I think she does. I think they do.
Well, I will be
What?
sure to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Straight Razor. I bet she does do a good son of a preacher man. One of my favorite songs ever. Gotcha.
I
All
think
right,
so.
Marcus. Well, thanks for
All right.
jumping on. Thanks for saying
Hey,
hello.
good to see you.
You too, brother. Take care.
Bye.
All right, there you go. Again, if you want to be like Marcus and jump in and say hello, the link's in the description. No pressure if you just want to hang out in the chat, but all are welcome. We can talk about anything you want. Let's see here. Ian Bruce, a guitar teaching YouTube article I read. This is actually the first video of yours I'm watching. I wonder what the guitar teaching YouTube article is that you read, but I'm glad that I was in it and that it sent you this way. Yes, Rory Gallagher is amazing. Oh Snakes, favorite lead singer who also played drums. That is a good one too, man. That is a great video idea. Oh. Best drummer that sang. Let's see here. Phil Collins. So yeah, is it lead singer who also played drums, or drummer that also sang? See, it's kind of an interesting question, because obviously, are we talking about where the drummer led the band? Right? Interesting. And I'm not sure if I ever have seen a video of Chris Cornell playing drums. I have to check that in there. Check that out. Yeah, Don Henley exactly is who comes to mind, right? you know. Chippy D, my favorite grunge band. Alice in Chains. I hate that's such a terrible quick answer, but I just don't see. I mean, Nirvana obviously, and Soundgarden obviously, but I've always thought that Jerry Cantrell was just one of the nastiest guitar players around. I mean, just funky and dirty, and just so much metal in there. Not as much punk stuff. Just always been a huge Jerry Cantrell fan. Yes, Levon Helm. Exactly. Yes. See, this. Yeah. Yeah. So. All right. Let's get somebody else here. Garrett, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, Garrett. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. How are you tonight?
Good. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good. Always good to be here.
What are you up to these days, man?
Just the same old grind, man. Just
Yeah.
plugging away, doing the job thing, raising 3 boys.
I can totally relate.
Yep, I know you can. It's one of the joys of the channel.
One of the
Everybody's connected.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. What are you doing with your boys this summer? Anything interesting?
I'm attempting to landscape.
Oh, Jesus, no.
The
What is-
5-year-old is a great help. The 3-year-old is a wild spirit. So,
Yeah,
but we're plucking away at it and making memories along the way.
yeah. I am trying to do. I'm trying to get my kids to help out around the house and do chores, etc., etc. And I don't have too much landscaping, but I have enough. And even my 12-year-old, I'm always trying to get him out there and help me at all. And he's just like, Dad, this is ridiculous. None of my friends have to do stuff like this. And I was just like, dude, what? I was like, my first summer job, I was a year older than you. I did landscaping. I did it for 3 summers straight. I was like, you can pick weeds for 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I grew up bailing hay.
Yeah.
It's that manual labor. It's good for you.
Yeah. Gotta keep the kids off the device, even for 5 minutes here or there.
Yeah, I was thinking, kind of the realm of brainstorming around what are some maybe video ideas or things like that. I think a common thread in a lot of your stuff that you talk about, but I don't know that you've done a specific breakdown, is emotional intelligence. And like the artists who just get it and like know how to use it, not manipulate in like the kind of negative connotation, but truly lean into the musical tools that you use to achieve that kind of like empathetic response from people. Because it's more than just major and minor, right? You can make major chords sound sad, and you can make minor tunes sound happy. It's all about the changes that you're doing to kind of evoke those emotions.
Oh man, you're giving me so many ideas. I don't know how to pinpoint it. All right, well, let me ask you this: give me one song or artist that comes to mind when you think of that.
Boy, yeah, it is hard. I think the person who talks about it really well is Jacob Collier. Of course, he's much more jazz keys. He started as a bass player. Didn't play anything with
He's
strings.
an excellent communicator, though. He's really good at making complex stuff sound like, oh yeah, it's just that.
And he breaks it down. He actually has a video, I forget, he did it with some magazine or something in the UK about emotional intelligence and feelings. And they just popped up songs or words, and he played music to it. And you could see that he was like intentionally thinking about how to convey emotion through that type of stuff. The other one I think about is like Corey Wong. You know, when you have an instrumental band, you got to do something that's compelling other than lyrics.
Yes. Hard. Very hard.
Yeah. And man, are they a compelling group and just phenomenally fun and tight and just fantastic. Probably, in my opinion, the best band on the planet right now in terms of like that big band sound.
I'll tell you what, I mean, he's really, really, really trying to be. Like, he is right there. Their arrangements are getting tighter and tighter. I would implore all of you to go see Corey and his band. Yeah, like I said, it's so wild to have a band that big and that like classic funk kind of vibe and not have vocals. It's
but his
wild.
guest vocalists who he has, you know, kind of on a rotation, they're fantastic.
Yes.
Truesdale,
yes, they are.
I just spun off on them a little bit.
Dude, how good are they?
Oh my gosh, they're fantastic. Their harmonies are just heavenly.
When I saw him with them and they were doing like their 3-part harmonies, I saw him after the show backstage, and I was like, dude, that's like the best I've ever heard you guys. Like this, like do that. Make them permanent. Do that.
Oh yeah, their version of Crisis with them on it is just fantastic.
Yes, it is 100%. Well, what else are you working on? That is a good idea. I just wrote that down. I'm going to sit and think about that video idea. But what else are you working on, guitar and music wise?
You know, trying to diversify and get back to basics at the same time.
Right?
I love stretching my perspective. You know, I grew up rural Minnesota. Like, the only thing more redneck than Texas is rural Minnesota for some reason. Yeah, so I grew up on country and classic rock, which are great, right? But it was, you know, people would always ask, oh, what kind of music do you like? And I'd always say, oh, everything but rap.
Yeah.
And now I've been challenging myself and like really delving into hip hop just as like this exercise to expand my perspective. And Harry Mack was my gateway into that because he's just joy and positivity and just incredible skill. I don't know if you've heard of Harry Mack, but
I've heard of him, but I haven't done a deep dive or even a shallow dive. But I should. You're saying?
Oh yeah, just for your personal enjoyment too. Like if you need a smile on your face, go get you some Harry Mack in your life.
Okay, I will do that. I will definitely do that.
But it's kind of opened me up into this world of hip hop and lyricism.
Yeah.
So kind of like the converse of what I was talking about with Corey, where it's all instrumental conveyance of emotion to just the power of word, spoken or rhythmic, and your drummer heart probably would love that about hip hop, right? That it's all about the rhythm.
Yes.
So yeah, kind of growing my diversity that way, and then just getting back to the basics of really enjoying just the simple things, especially as I start to try and plant the seeds for my kiddos about how they're going to approach music and kind of unpack a lot of the old learnings, you know, like wishing I had stuck with piano my entire life,
Mm-hmm.
but then also wishing I had just more space to play in music.
Yeah. It's a good point about the kids. I can't stand so much of the stuff my kids listen to, but like I try to figure out why they like it and what's going on with it. And in exchange, I play stuff and they try to figure out why I like it, or they at least listen to it. But it's hard, man. It is really, really hard. Like I think about it all the time. I've mentioned it a bunch on this channel that one of my favorite artists of all time is George Clinton, and he has this quote where he's just like, the kids don't want you to like what they're listening to, and if you start finding yourself going like, oh man, these kids don't know what good music is, he's like, stop what you're doing and listen to it, because that's the new shit, and
Right.
and it happens. He said it happens every decade, and everybody starts, just getting stuck in their ways or whatever. So I'm trying really hard to figure out what, all the trap beats and all like the auto tune vocals and all that. But I at least go one for one, track for track with my kids, or try to.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Just a little insight. One of the things that I wonder about with like the auto tune and trap beats and things like that, you can find trap beats everywhere on YouTube that are like free
Yeah.
use to like work over. And with auto tune, almost anybody can sound good, right? Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, but I wonder how much of it is like empowerment of like, I can do this. And
Yes.
I can sing with this and I can enjoy it and I can be an artist, right? So the freedom of expression that comes
Which
with it.
is huge. Yeah, that's definitely true. And do it from their house on their computer.
Totally.
Yeah. All right. Well, good to see you, Gary. You give me a lot to think about, brother.
Well, you do the same. So just returning the favor.
All right, man. Take care.
Have a good night.
You too. All right. Next up, we got Pat. Pat, you there?
Yeah, I am. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. What you up to, brother?
Oh, just hanging out. Was watching some guitar YouTube videos and I saw this pop up. So I was like, hey, why not? So,
Yeah, dude. So where are you right now?
Michigan.
Michigan. Love it.
Yep.
What are you doing up there in Michigan?
My wife is on a vacation with her mom, so I
Yeah.
got 2 kids for 10 days. So
10.
10. I have paternity leave left over from work from our daughter being born last year, so I'm just using my paternity time. So kids go to daycare during the day.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
You get paternity rollover from time from last year?
You get 12 months to take it.
You get 12 months to take it?
Yeah. Well, my job does. So I waited.
That's pretty amazing.
It is. So I've been like during the day. One of my friends came over. We just jammed for a while at the house. Like so, it's like
Right,
summer vacation kind of. The kids go to daycare during the day, and then I'm watching them during the weekend and all that. So I've been playing a lot of guitar. I have the house to myself. It's been nice. So
That's awesome. So what are you working on? What are you listening to?
I was in a band a couple of years ago, just kind of a loose thing, and then had 2 kids in a short amount of time, and kind of fizzled out a little bit. So I'm trying to get back into that, like making connections, playing with other people, that kind of stuff. So I got a good friend that's a guitar player and a singer, so we're trying to get that rolling again.
Yeah.
So yep. But yeah, I was gonna tell a story. So I've
Hit me.
never really gotten into Tool, right? So I know you were just talking about Tool, which I should. One of my friends has a lot of overlap with musical taste. And he's like, hey man, you got to check these guys out. Well, I bought tickets to see him in Detroit. Let's go. It's like, all right, cool. So I forget if this is like a year ago or 2 years ago, but my son comes home from daycare like 2 days before, starts throwing up, right?
Okay.
Oh shit. Like, okay. So the day of the concert shows up, everything's great. Right as we're about to leave, I start to feel something in my stomach. I'm like, oh no. Like, all right, I need to go. I just need to stick it out, whatever. So I get to the venue. We go to have dinner. I like can't eat anything. And I'm like, all right,
Jesus.
I just gotta make it through this show. So the opener started, one song. I just had to leave. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I just have to go. So I ran to my car, made it home, got sick. So that's I tried to get into Tool and my body like rejected it.
Oh,
So maybe I'll give it.
you were so close, dude.
I know. I was in the building.
Oh no.
I was in the building.
You would have been forever altered.
So that's my experience so far with Tool. So.
Oh well, don't give up. That is so close.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I was going to ask you. So there's a guitar shop in Lansing, Michigan called Elderly Instruments, and they have like a vault. They have like a $200,000 Carina Flying V, and they have this. I think it's a 57 or 58 Les Paul, and I'd seen on their website and everything, and I went there like last week. And somebody was playing it in the amp room. They like brought it out and somebody was playing it. And I like the guy was talking to him and everything. So at the end, he was going to put it away. I was like, hey, can I play that? So I played this 57 or I think it was 58.
Okay.
It's off Les Paul.
Uh-huh.
And it's on sale for $80,000, you know? And it was this magical experience going through a Fender Tweed amp, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But it got me thinking, like, hasn't this just gotten out of control?
Yeah.
Like if you A-B'd that guitar against a new Les Paul, could you really tell the difference? I get that it's rare and everything, but it's just interesting to me that like that guitar has been out on the road, been at gigs, and now the next person that's going to buy it is going to put it in like a case, right? And it's never going to be played out again.
Yeah, that part sucks. Well, you know, yes, it's gone too far, but I will also say that, you know, some instruments just have the magic in them, and they aren't always, you know, those $80,000 instruments either. You know, like there's like if you ask anybody that's really found some incredible guitars, they'll tell you and like has sought after them. That they found them at all price points. It's just one of those weird things. The older vintage ones that are collectors that people again keep in cases and don't really play with. I mean, I get it, but I would never do that even if I could afford it. Right. But I would just tell you that like sometimes you'll go into a store and you'll play a $300 or $400 instrument, you know. And it just rings like a bell, you know. Right. And sometimes you'll pick up something that's $3,000 or $4,000 and it sounds just dead. Right. That is just real life. And so, you know, I think you not everybody can tell as quickly, but like I guess what I'm trying to say is this: if you find yourself in that moment and it's something you can actually afford, lucky you. You know, like, but you don't have to hunt for high prices to find that. You just have to play a lot of guitars.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
Are there any guitars that you've sold over the years that you regret selling?
Yes. I honestly haven't. So I haven't owned that many guitars. I am very much a minimalist in life. And so I really only buy things if I need them, and I really only sell things if I need the money. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, the guitar example of that I have, I've owned 2 guitars that I've sold or that I don't have anymore. One of them was a Gibson Les Paul from 2003 that I actually gave to a friend of mine. When I left LA as like a sign of like respect. And 2, I had a 1985 or Tonic or someone in the chat will know this. But when did Fender start coming out with the lace pickups in their American Strats that you saw Clapton play? I want to say mid to late 80s. Anyhow, I had one of those. That was the first really nice guitar I ever purchased. And it was my number one from probably, I don't know, let's say with like, put it this way. I bought it and a Marshall stack when I was 16 instead of a car. I bought a car when I was 17 because I wanted that guitar and that amp. And I had saved up for it. And so that was my number one from probably 16 years old to like, I don't know, 21 or so. And I actually sold it to, I sold it when I had my first son, and I was flat broke, and I actually sold it to buy his crib.
Wow.
Yeah. And I actually, the music store I worked for at the time, he gave me, his name is Mike Gordon. He gave me the money for it. I think it was like $800 back then, or maybe it was $1,000 or something like that. And then he put it on eBay, and he ended up getting like $1,500 for it. And he actually came back to me later and gave me more money than he paid me before, which I really needed it. But yeah, that's it. Every other guitar I still own.
Nice.
What about you? Have you lost a good one or any story?
I've sold 2 electric guitars, and I don't really regret. I had a Fender John Mayer Stratocaster. That was my first really nice guitar that I bought, and sold it because I needed money, a while back. And then I had a 1993 SRV Strat, which was awesome.
With the reverse tremolo and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I always wanted one of those, man.
It was an awesome guitar. But I sold that basically, and I didn't really need the money, but I sold it because I like kind of minimalist thing. Like I only need one Strat.
Yep.
To buy, I'm holding the PRS Silver Sky. So I sold it to buy a Silver Sky that a guy was selling, and he was like desperate for money. So I bought this Silver Sky for $1,500 when it was 2 months old.
Nice.
So I was like, all right, I can sell my SRV Strat, and I've kind of, I went back and forth, like, should I have done that? But I really love how this guitar plays. So this,
dude, it's one of the best guitars I've ever had, man.
Yeah.
Every time I pick up the Silver Sky, it's probably my number one right now. But every time I pick it up, like 2 things happen. Like one, I'm just like, this isn't exactly like I'm always thinking like, this is not exactly what I want. But then I go and pick something else up, and I put it down, and I pick up the Silver Sky again. I'm just like, it's just a fucking great guitar, man.
Like it just feels good in my hands, So
it does feel good. It does feel good, and they nailed the sounds.
Yep.
And it stays in tune. It intonates well. Like it's just everything about it is really fun to me.
Yep.
It's I'm excited to play this T-style thing they came up with. I don't know what the hell it's gonna feel like, but I'm excited to try it.
Yeah, it'll be good. So good stuff, man. Love the channel. Appreciate the time today and everything. So
yeah, dude, thanks for jumping on. Good luck with the 2 kids for 10 days.
Yep. Yeah. For sure. Thank you.
You'll be fine. Keep playing guitar with your buddies too.
Yeah, will do.
All right, see you.
See ya.
That was awesome. Okay. Don't call me Angie. Yes, the guys at Casino Guitar are hilarious. They have a great YouTube channel. I enjoy watching some of this stuff. Seeing Tedeschi Trucks next week. Amazing. I wanted to shout them out. Did they ever hit you back after you answered the call on Instagram? Yes. If you didn't see that, they invited me and my wife to a show in New York City on our anniversary, on their anniversary, their 50th gig at the Beacon. And we ended up going to the bar after the show and shutting it down till 4 o'clock in the morning. It was awesome. Legendary. And you know who the coolest one is? Susan. Susan is amazing. Susan, I could be best friends with Susan. She was tremendous. And those two as a couple are just as powerful and graceful as you could ever imagine. Just like feel like family, act like family, but just like rock and roll royalty, Yeah, Susan is awesome. Like Derek is very just Derek. You know, there's like an aura about him, right? But he's so welcoming and warm, but he's just stoic might be the word, but Susan is just gregarious and laughing and encouraging and like wants to tell stories and hear stories and bubbly and kind, and she's just she's just awesome. She really is awesome. Okay. Do you have any advice for someone that never learned music theory and wants to learn many different tunings? Yeah, real person. So not really. In practical, how do I put this? Now what I'm going to say is not universal, obviously. You can be a slide guitar player and do slide stuff and know every little interval, okay? But for the most part, electric guitar players that mess around with, I mean, not even just electric, but guitar players that mess around with a lot of different tunings do so to kind of make different sounds with different shapes. And it's less about learning the theory like on a piano and trying to find voicings for it. It's more like, let me find some cool sounds, and then maybe I'll figure out what the theory is after that. But for everybody that does the drop and the open stuff, or like they change all kinds of crazy stuff, a lot of times that's just like to get you out of the habit of playing the same thing in the same physicality, and get you playing stuff that you otherwise wouldn't. Open tuning for me is like a mind bender. It's not for like a different way to learn the neck in theory. It's a way to make you play stuff that you wouldn't play or otherwise play. MCP, yeah, love Ween. Ween's amazing. Let's go. Tan May, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Can you hear me fine?
You are perfect, my friend. What do you want to talk about?
All right. Anything and everything, man. I just wanted to hang out, say hi, and just talk about music, guitar.
Well,
anything.
What are you playing, man? What are you working on these days?
So basically, like, I'm a full-time student, but I have my days where I produce some stuff, and right now I'm working on like a couple of tracks. It's kind of like EDM pop kind of thing.
Okay.
But like, I'm guitar player by nature, so I like to make the pop a little bit more complicated sometimes. And
yeah, we love to make it more complicated.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's going good, and like I think I can ask for some advice here.
Go for it.
So like, not having as much time, like I deal with uncertainty sometimes when I'm making music, because there's like crap ton of information, and it's like fatiguing knowing everything.
Yes.
And
yes,
it's so uncertain. I just want to deal with that, and maybe I can use some advice here, because I really want to get good at it. But again, it's like so much going on in the world of music that you cannot learn everything. So
man, I cannot tell you how much what you're saying resonates with me right now, because I'm trying to write stuff for like the first time in my life right now, and I'm trying to prioritize time in my life to do so, and not just work. And I feel completely, like you're saying, like bombarded with options and stimulus, just
exactly
all the things I'm learning and all the different genres, and should I write something in this scale or key, or should I approach it from a rhythm thing first, or should I write the lyrics first? Like, it seems so daunting and overwhelming.
It does, man.
And it's so hard to make a decision on something. It's so difficult.
Because like, whatever you make, it's like kind of like your baby, and you want to make it kind of perfect, but I think this uncertainty has been since the early days, like since
always,
you got to deal with that. And it is difficult, but with AI and everything, it's taking over a little bit. With my lyric writing, I use like AI tools.
Yeah.
But it is scary. It is a
No,
bit
it
scary.
is scary. And like, I think it's easy for us to say, oh, it must have been so much easier for people who just didn't have all this information. And they just had like a stack of records at their house, and that's all they were listening to, and they could. But I don't know how true that is. But here's the
Yeah.
best advice I can give you. That the best advice that I'm trying to take myself, that a friend told me not too long ago, and he said, only like 80% like it. Don't 100%. You don't have to shoot for 100% liking what you're doing. Shoot for just 80% liking what you're making.
That 20% still bothers you. Some
I know.
Days,
I
It is
know. I
like,
know. But the point
I
is,
could have done it better. That's what I think. And
yeah. Well, the point is that if your goal is 100%, you're probably never going to get to a point of completion. But if you just mentally say to yourself, okay, you know what? I'm going to make a reggae song, and I'm just going to start, and I'm going to finish it, and it's going to be done when I like 80% like it.
yeah,
There's a much higher chance that you'll actually write a song. Forget about whether it's good or not, but you'll actually do it. Where if we're
Yeah.
thinking about how perfect it has to be, we can't even get past a verse.
You can't even do it, right?
You can't even get a
that's what
verse.
happens, man. And like you just get stuck in your head thinking, okay, like what if these words are not relatable to some people? But then again, some days, on my better days, I'll just feel like, end of the day, I'm doing it for myself. It is
Yes.
sounding selfish, but like end of the day, yes, I'm feeling good. If I influence like even a single person, that's what keeps me going, when I make these tracks.
Totally. And
Yes.
like Jacob's saying here, like forget it being good, just get making. I mean, there's so much truth to that. Like if you just begin on something, like when I go into the kitchen and there's like a mountain of dishes, if you just start with one, eventually you do it all.
It's
It-
kind of
the-
like a domino effect thing, right? Like you
Yeah.
do one thing and just you get in the zone. And I actually love being in the zone when you produce music. It's like you don't even realize you have spent like 6 hours or 7 hours just coming up with something. So it's great.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, man.
All right, well, dude, very nice to meet you, Tan, man. I hope
Nice
that's
to meet
helpful.
you.
I'm trying to keep
No,
the same
it is.
advice.
We're in the same boat as musicians, so we gotta deal with these things. And yeah, advice and everything helps. So and thank
Yeah.
you so much for your content. It's like really inspiring as well.
Oh, well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
All right, see you. Bye.
Cheers. All right, everybody. Well, this has been fun. I appreciate you jumping on here. It's been about an hour. It's been great to see some new faces and some old ones. Again, just a quick little wrap up here. Sorry we couldn't do the live reaction thing. We were trying to figure out what to do with the blocking, and it's just really out of control. The mods and I are talking. Maybe we'll do it internally on Discord. But I still want to keep a ready live thing up here, for us to, again, meet each other and talk. Two, the hybrid course is coming out. I'm shooting for the end of this week. If not, it'll be 4th of July launch. And so keep an eye out for that. And I think that's pretty much it. Definitely got some new ideas. Top 5 Tool songs, best drummer that sings or singers that also play drums. And also the EQ, IQ argument in music. That one's going to take a little bit to figure out. But thank you. I love you. And have a great day. Cheers.